I don't think it's a natural thing for people necessarily to hone into their purpose and why. I think some people have that in them and they've got that grit mindset and they've got that vision that they will. I think some people want it, but they just have too many limited beliefs in their mind that ever allow them to like actually step into it.
Welcome to the AAA Mindset, the podcast where adversity isn't a setback, it's the setup. If life has challenged you and stepped on your confidence and forced you to pivot, you're in the right place. Here, we train the mind to face obstacles head on and turn them into fuel for growth, resilience, and success.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 14 of the AAA Mindset. I cannot believe we're on episode 14. It's been so much fun. We're here with obviously Adam, Anastasia, and myself. And you guys, today we're going to talk about something that I think is going to resonate with a lot of you. We're going to talk about motivation and what does that look like? You know, who are people that you admire? Do you actually admire them? Or are you idolizing them? What's the difference there? And then, of course, one of my favorites, motivational quotes, and which ones are complete BS and which ones actually really hit home. So let's get to it, you guys. This is gonna be a fun one.
Let's go. Which ones do you want to start off with?
I think we should start
with our worst quotes.
We can do that. We want to start with quotes, or we want to talk about like motivation?
Let's talk about motivation. What is motivation?
Yes, I think motivation is sometimes complete BS. I just said BS twice in like 5 minutes, but that's okay.
Wow. It's like,
I know I didn't use the whole word, but the reason I think that is because people can be motivated all day long, but without action, nothing's going to happen. So like I'll have people that will call me and, you know, we'll talk for half an hour and I'll get them all motivated and excited, but the phone hangs up and nothing changes.
Guess what? We're personal trainers. We have the same thing.
You have the same thing?
Everybody wants to get in shape. They just don't want to do the that it actually requires.
Yeah.
I think it's good to get little boosts of motivation, like little pep talks, because sometimes you just need a little redirection. Like I do that a lot with my coaching clients. We'll get on a call, redirect them, motivate them a little bit, get them to really, it's not really motivation, more so as it is like redirecting, realigning to their purpose. And that is motivating in itself. And then they're like, okay, I'm charged, I'm ready to go. But
do they actually follow through with that motivation and turn it into action?
If you depend on motivation to get you through that, then you are going to be just disappointed because it's not going to get you through that. What's going to get you through that is the best practices of being disciplined, staying consistent, all of those things, right?
Like let's use my world in bodybuilding. Like if you just think you're going to be motivated the whole time you're on a bodybuilding prep, I can assure you, you're not going to be.
I think you just nailed it. You said something about a purpose, right? And I think you have to have a solid purpose. And, you know, people will say, well, my purpose is to get on a stage, right? Well, why do you want to get on a stage?
Right.
Okay. Like you have to really identify what is that why for them deep inside. You know, for people I work with, it's like, I want to get out of debt. Okay. Well, why do you want to get out of debt? Like, what does that do for you? Like, and really hone in on like the pain point of genuinely why. And from there, can you motivate people? Absolutely. But if you are just, you know, it's like you go to a motivational conference and you leave there and you're excited and all the things and you're going to conquer the world. And then you walk out of there and it's like the real world happens. And so if you don't have that solid purpose and why, it's not going to matter.
It's not even just the solid purpose and why, it's the plan in place, the ability to execute, right? Yeah. I just made a post about this is a lot of times when I'm getting on consults with people, I'm looking for more than a superficial reason for why they want to change. Like, yeah, it's great to have 6-pack abs, and I said this in the post that I made, not look like a fat at the pool. Sorry, Betty Gail.
Beep. Don't worry, we're getting beeped.
Yeah, and
I like that actually. They like that quote.
Yeah, well, it's true because you know it's like you have those reasons, like you want to look good naked. That's great.
I don't think it's a natural thing for people necessarily to hone into their purpose and why. I think some people have that in them and they've got that grit mindset and they've got that vision that they will. I think some people want it, but they just have too many limited beliefs in their mind that ever allow them to like actually step into it. But I do think also there's life circumstances that can happen that can get that person to move from I'm overthinking it to I'm actually going to do it because I have that life circumstance happen. But I don't know that I think it's just everyone has that.
No, I think it's a gift in a way. Like, I think some people either have it or don't, you know,
but I think
more than others. Yeah, absolutely. I think it can, you know, but that person has to be willing to do the things to achieve
right.
that.
But that's why you go back to their reason why. And that's why that's so critical, because if they really, I think people don't spend enough time figuring that out. When you figure figure that out and you actually sit with it and you're like, this actually scares the crap out of me if I don't do XYZ. Like when your back is up against the wall, I'm talking about like, especially like in entrepreneurship or something, the reason people are taking these risks is because a lot of times they have no other choice. I was just reading a post from Justin Prince and he was talking about his kids were sleeping in the closet of their in-laws house. And it's like, he felt terrible. He, you know, I couldn't imagine as a parent, like I can be doing better. I can be doing better. His back was up against the wall. Then it left him no choice. That's his why. That is a deep need to be like, I better get to it right now. You know, like I have a sense of urgency. And then sometimes that's just the takeoff point. And then once you get there, it's like, okay, I believe in myself a little bit. You get the self-confidence and then you just keep going.
Yep. I totally agree. And I hear that story all the time. And it's, you know,
I felt that.
I did too. But I think about even like our dad, you know, I wouldn't say that he had like a natural work ethic or, you know, vision for his family with the way he grew up per se. But I remember him sharing a story of walking into my sister's room when she was a baby laying in the crib. And he looked at her and said, I promise I'll give you a better life. And that's when he like got into medical device sales because that was like a purpose. He had a purpose and a why. And he did not want her growing up in a situation that, you know, not that it would have been the same as him, but he wanted her to have a great life. So I think it is strong enough. You'll make it happen. But the one thing that as we were talking about all this, I'm like, the word that came to me was one thing that holds people back from ever getting to where they want to go. I think it doesn't matter in what industry is people are searching for balance.
Right.
And there is no such
I
thing.
hate the word balance.
In my opinion,
let's go off on that.
There is no such thing as balance. And I look at my life is crazy every single day, but guess what? I'm a great mom. I'm a great wife. I accomplish things. I'm a great businesswoman. I have incredible business. And guess what? I mean, half the time it looks like a crazy tornado, but you make it happen because you have
that is
to.
balance for Abby.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
That is to say, it's all relative based off of what you think. And
Yeah.
so some people might look in and say, oh my gosh, Abby is crazy. She has a crazy life. She doesn't have balance, blah, blah, blah. But that is your balance.
That is my balance.
I mean, it's the same with our life. Like, I mean, we talk to our neighbors and our friends, and like, I know that people think we're crazy because we're like always doing crazy like things, always getting, you know, new cars, doing all the things. People are just like, what? Like, you guys are always doing something, but you know, that's just
working on a project. We're doing this.
Yeah.
We're doing
but
that.
it keeps you, I just almost said motivated, but in a sense, it does keep you, you know, going and growing.
That's just the type of people that we are, though. We're hungry. We're like, I
don't think there's never a point of like satisfaction where it is like, I mean, that's like, I mean, like for us with bodybuilding, you don't become a pro bodybuilder because you're like, yeah, I got some abs, I'm good.
Yep.
You're like, you're constantly striving for more.
That self-actualization that we're talking about, that's that need, that desire that curiosity to fulfill. What would happen if I did this? You know, can I reach for that? Like, I didn't just, you know, decide one day. Well, I did kind of decide one day that I was going to move to Brazil, or I was going to go to PA school, or I was going to do all these things. I just was like, what would happen if I try it? You know,
see what happens.
And sometimes that desire to do something like that, you know, whether you succeed in it 100% or don't, or it helps you find your way through other things, that self-actualization is what is really going to determine your success, I think.
Yeah. Well, but I do believe that people, when they want to accomplish something in their life, like if you think it's going to just be like this perfect, organized, balanced situation, just understand that it's not.
And balance is mediocrity. Like if you want like a balanced life, you're probably going to live a pretty mediocre life. If you want, I mean, unless you have a trust fund,
right?
Or something.
Exactly.
I don't.
Would it be so? Wouldn't that have been nice?
In a way, it wouldn't.
No, that's true.
You wouldn't grow into the person that you are today because you didn't have to do all the you are to get to where you are.
Right. I am who I am today because of the things that we've been through, and I wouldn't trade that.
I mean, I don't know if I'd turn it down.
Now I wouldn't. Like now, because I like who I am.
I got through all the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Get through all the things.
So so if anybody want to hook that up, like by all means.
Maybe this like surprise, like we don't even know.
Totally. I know. Let's totally count on that.
Let's not hold our breath on that one.
Right. Let's not. Yes.
No, but I have to say, going back to the balance thing, it's all relative to what people think balance is. Like I had somebody ask us a question the other day in a Instagram post that I made that was like, how do you do it all? How do you balance the gym with your mom life, with your career and stuff like that? And I feel like I just take it as it comes. Like these are the roles that I need to do, and this is what I'm going to be doing. It's not like I'm like worrying so much about like, oh, well, I haven't had enough social life today or like whatever, or like I haven't had enough me time. It's just like you do it. And like that's what
And
you do.
you can't sit there and like debate with your feelings like, oh, I don't feel like doing that today.
Yeah.
It's like, well, like too bad. Like,
But I
it
think
is
it
what
Sorry.
comes down to priorities, right?
Mhm.
So like your balance is all relative to like what your priorities are. So if your priorities are staying in shape, if your priorities are making sure you eat clean and making sure your kids get, you know, enough parenting time and enough quality time with you, or you make sure that your career is at its best, you're driving in your career at its best. Those are your priorities, and you're going to make time for those things, right? You're maybe going to make less time for drama. You're going to
Mhm.
make less time for scrolling on social media. You're going to make less time for, you know what I mean? So like those are, it's all about your priorities is what it comes down to, I think.
Definitely. And I would say when people want balance, look at your day and see what can you change to bring in what you, like what the goal is. So for instance, if you are wanting to get into great shape, okay, well, if you only feel like you have an hour a day, but you need an hour and a half a day, right? Okay, what are 30 minutes of other things that you can stop doing to allow more time for the gym, for instance?
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of people who they'll say, I have no time, but yet they know they've been watching Love Island. They know all the characters. They,
And then
you
they're
know,
and then they're at the gym.
I've
and
never
they're-
even seen it.
and when they're at the gym, they're on their damn phone.
Right. You know,
Scrolling on the phone.
yes, exactly. And
Comes down to
there's
what is your priority?
what is your priority? And I think, you know, even for us, like there were times where we had to like reevaluate the friend situation that we were in, you know,
Mhm.
years ago. And it was like these people are not complimenting
who you spend
who
your
we
time
want to
with?
be with, you know?
Mhm.
And so again, it's all balance. If you want to grow, then you're gonna have to make some changes.
Yeah, and sometimes those changes are hard, and it comes down to like who you actually want to be surrounded by, right? Like iron sharpens iron. I remember when coming up in bodybuilding that I wanted to be better, and I wasn't going to get better by training at a Lifetime Fitness. So I
Here she
drove,
came rolling into
Here,
arm
I
wrestling
arm
drove
Trojan.
in
all
her
the
elite
way
physique
from
shirt.
yeah. I drove, yeah, but honestly too,
What?
I drove from Aurora all the way to Wheat Ridge every single day to come train at Armbrust, to be around that and
Mhm.
to be surrounded by that because I wanted to get better at it. It's just like your circle of friends. Like, you know, you don't let, as we get older, I'm sure you can attest to this too, Abby, that as you get older, your circle of friends gets smaller
Oh,
and
yes.
smaller and smaller because you're like, those are the people that are not going to like help me level up,
100%.
you know, help me learn more and grow more. You want always people that are going to help push you into that right direction. And so that can help you understand too that like that person's level of balance is not the same as my level of balance. So I'm going to hang out with these people. These are the people at my table because we're pushing each other. We're trying to get better. We're trying to strive to be the best we can be.
Yep. Yeah, it's super important. So yeah, I mean, balance is something that if you're striving for balance, it's going to be hard to accomplish big goals.
Yeah,
it really is.
Sure.
So let's talk about, I want to know who your role models are. Like who are the people who have like really pushed you? And has there ever been somebody that you thought they were a role model, but you were actually idolizing them? Because there's two differences there, right? Like the role model is somebody that you strive to be like, whereas the idol, I would say somebody we were more obsessed with and maybe in a negative way.
Tough one.
Yeah. Do you know?
About like too, like when you're a kid and like you look up to an athlete or a celebrity or whatever, like to me those are people that you idolize.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
guess when I was a kid, I'd have more of that, like, oh, like this baseball player, like, oh, that's Alex Rodriguez or
Right.
you know, King Griffey Jr.
Yeah.
I'm old, so but yeah, I could see that when I was younger. Now, you know, I don't know if I like necessarily idolize people. 38.
Was there ever a time that you would say, like online, for instance, that maybe there was another bodybuilder that you were comparing yourself to, or
Oh, yeah.
in a sense, like idolizing in that way because you became so obsessed with them?
I mean, not really. I didn't like. I never, and that's one thing. Like a lot of people, especially nowadays, like they get into bodybuilding because they see other bodybuilders. Like I got into bodybuilding because I wanted to be a good bodybuilder, but
Mhm.
it wasn't encouraged by like another person.
Right.
But as I like came up, you know, there were some guys like Flex Lewis. You know, he was a really good bodybuilder. I respected him as like a human. So I would say, you know, if anyone, it'd probably be him as far as bodybuilding.
Mhm.
You know, and then Phil was at Armbrust, and that was great. You know, seeing him, you know, winning Olympias you know, out of our own gym, that was cool.
It's pretty
you know.
freaking cool.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah. But I never had like an idolized mindset. It was more like I just wanted to be my best version of myself.
Mhm.
But, you know, obviously you want to get to that. That was the goal, you know, to get to that level eventually.
Yeah.
You know.
For sure.
I feel like an idol can make you feel like you're never enough. That's the trick is like, the older you get, the more you realize like that's not really a role model. That's more of an idol because your self-worth is kind of being put on the line there where you're like, you never feel like you're enough because you're never going to be that person. And so there's a little bit of like reflection that goes in on that too to say, I'm not trying to be that person. I might look up to them for certain things, because they have whatever, maybe materialistic things that you look up to, or maybe they have a physique that you look up to, or a job that you want, or something like that. But I think a good role model is going to have that instill belief in you that you can do anything, anything is possible, and they believe in you that way. So it's more like a mentorship, I think.
Yeah, I would say honestly, like in my first company, I would say close to idolizing because I was so new in the industry. So like when you're seeing these people on stages and so on and so forth, you're like, oh my gosh, like they're so amazing. And so I feel like there was a time where I was definitely like trying to be like them, even though I wasn't like them, if that makes sense. Like I was still me and who I was, but I would like try to put on this like fake show, if that makes sense, because I thought that's what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because I idolized them. But yet then they would step off the stage and you're like, oh, wait,
You're just a person.
you're actually
I think
completely
that's
different.
such a thief of critical thinking and the ability to be yourself.
Yes.
Because you're trying to copycat those people so much.
Well, and that was kind of that company. I mean, it was a little bit of a
the one with the A?
The Advocare, yeah, that one. And the reason why was because a lot of the top leaders there wanted to be idolized, right? So they wanted to be that person that everyone looked up to. And, I mean, it would be as crazy, you guys, as like we would be at dinner and it's not like we were taking shots and being crazy, right? Like we would have a glass of wine on the table, but you could not have any alcohol in a picture. And this was not from the company. This was from the leaders who you were supposed to idolize. You would have to smile with your wine glass under the table.
Why?
So it didn't look because
you can't have wine.
Apparently you could not drink. No, that was a thing. And so there was a time where like we kind of fell into that, like that trap of like idolization because we thought that in order to have success, that's what we had to be like. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, like we're good. I don't have to be like that. So, I would say that was an idolization situation for me. Whereas like, now I look at like Justin Prince, for instance, right? He's the founder of our company and I admire him so much because he loves his wife so much. He loves his kids. They are number one. He will always make that very clear. The man doesn't drink, right? He doesn't drink at all. Does he care if you have a glass of wine? Couldn't give two cahoots if you do, right?
Yeah.
But and the person he's on stage is the person that he is if he was in this room sitting next to us. So that's a role model to me because he exudes the success I desire, but also like the lifestyle that I want to live.
He walks the walk, right?
He walks the walk.
I think that's the biggest difference between nowadays with like influencers and stuff is like they put this persona online like they're this person, but like them behind the scenes. You're like, you're not that person. Like I know people that have tons of followers and like you're like behind the scenes, you're a train wreck. And it's just true,
Oh, absolutely.
And a lot of them they just know how to act and put on for the camera, but in real life, or I've seen people like they have this huge personality online and they roll into our gym and it's like, dude, you suck. Like you literally have no personality. You're rude, you're entitled, but like online, you're this huge personality. And like, that's a huge turn off to me.
Yeah. I mean, and there is also people that you see online that are like, and then you meet them and you're like, oh my gosh, you're actually like the nicest and most normal
I've seen
person.
That too, actually.
But yeah, I mean, that's why the online thing, it's a great thing because I think there's so many good reasons for social media and things like that. But there's so many horrible traps for people. And unfortunately, people on the outside are looking in and they start idolizing these people for the very wrong reasons.
Oh, we're in that industry, let me tell you.
Idols are like the untouchable people of like, almost like I feel like a Mean Girls club of like, you could never achieve my status. It's just almost like it's kind of ridiculous. And there's a little bit of that fear mongering that goes into it too. Like if the idols are the ones that are like, I'm untouchable, you can never reach my status, versus like a role model is going to be like, come join me at the top.
Absolutely. You guys want to hear something crazy? Going back to the idolization of my first company, I don't think you even knew this. We would go on these like conferences, right, that were outside of like the company, like the leaders would be putting these on. They would have a church service at nighttime that you were almost required to go to. We did not go to that because we had our own church we go to. And they would baptize people. They would go to the pool outside and they would baptize people.
Oh, wow.
Wild.
Wow. That's a little
How
much.
Eric McMaster stuck through that, I don't know.
Yeah.
You guys were gung-ho about it though.
We were gung-ho, but we never
You
did.
ignored the red flags.
But we never did that part, right? Like that stuff we were like, we're good. We'll actually just go get a bottle of wine and back to the room.
But that's what I mean is you wanted this so badly to work and you wanted to be at this level of these idols, quote unquote, that you ignored those things.
Yes.
You were like,
remember-
I am going to still do this, even though this is a little weird.
Uh-huh.
Like, whatever.
Yeah,
You know?
I
totally.
remember she got mad at me because I got a sponsorship from Supplement Diet.
Oh my God. I totally remember that. I did get so mad at him. I was like, you don't support me.
I was like, dude, I got sponsored by a supplement store.
I know.
It's not even. It's not even.
We've always all made mistakes. We've all made mistakes. And he was so excited. Bless his little heart.
I know. I was like, yeah, I got a sponsorship. And
I was
she's
like,
like,
you're
I
a
hate
jerk.
you. You sell Avocare only.
Which is really
So
interesting
funny.
too, because when you are in that moment of idolizing these people, you kind of start acting that way too.
That's what I was saying.
right?
Yes. Like you
You know?
really.
Oh,
you
Eric
really
got
did.
pissed at me too. He
You
texted
can't
me.
be
Yeah.
happy for
He
Yeah.
was like, I can't believe you would. He's like, this is what we do for a living. I'm like, sorry,
You're like,
bro.
it's just another.
Trying to get some
Okay,
creatine,
but
dog.
but understand that it was like. But understand that poor Adam. But understand that for us, like we were in that like
For sure.
hole,
That's why
right?
I'm bringing this
That's
up.
all you did.
That's what I'm,
Do you
that's
see
why
what
I'm
I'm
bringing
saying?
this up
Guys,
right now.
who knew? I'm sweating now.
Uh-huh.
But
You
it's
didn't think
true.
that. So you didn't expect that.
But
about
it's
the
good.
heat on the camera.
I like
live.
it.
Yeah.
But here's the good thing about
Never
this,
know
right?
what you're
Like
gonna get.
deep
know.
inside, we knew. Like deep inside, we knew. And so I would say that we got to where we needed to go with that company. And I always say now, like, thank goodness it went away, right? Like, thank goodness. Although we were becoming
Seriously.
very
Good
rebellious afterward.
Lord.
Because now, like, I have all the skills that I need to be super successful,
Yeah.
but I also have the barriers. Like,
Right.
I'm like,
You know the game.
I know the game.
Right.
And guess what? I talk about the creatine I take that's not for Make Wellness.
great.
And it is okay because we don't have creatine,
Right.
but we put it in our fit, don't we,
Creatine's
Anastasia?
fantastic.
We sure do.
We
'cause
sure
It's
do.
a great intro workout.
should
It sure
you.
is. And
Or
so should you.
pre-workout. Yeah. Yeah. No, I can see that too. And I like talking about like role models too. Like I look up to certain people for different things. You know, like I really look up to my grandmother. You know, was super resilient and dealt with some things in her life, and like just seeing that resiliency. I look up to my father and my mother. You know, for certain things that they've guided me in along the way. But I don't feel like I've ever had like a you know, like I look up to my coaches. I don't feel like I've had like one person
Mhm.
steadfast through my whole life. And I'm lucky enough to have several role models in my life. So I think that's pretty cool too.
I agree. I would say Betty Gale's definitely one of my role models.
Oh, she's one of mine.
Betty Gale's the best.
My mother-in-law is a saint.
She might be the closest thing to like
she's
perfection.
perfect. I think Betty Gale is as close
I've
to
never
perfection.
once heard that woman complain
Never.
about anything.
I don't think
No.
I've ever heard her complain.
I don't think she's ever complained.
Well,
She
she,
is
you know,
gung-ho.
I'll be honest with you. No, I heard her complain.
Oh, you did? What?
When I would go and rack up a $200 bill at Galette's in college, she would call me. and
Oh my
complain.
God, don't even get me started.
But that's
We need a whole
warranted.
episode of Adam's college
Oh,
days.
damn. You guys want to hear some good stories?
We got some good
Oof.
ones. No, she would complain about that. I would say when we were younger, she definitely complained more. Like when we were in college days and things like that. Because
Because I would do, and I don't blame her. I'd
and she
probably
wasn't
complain, too.
really like that. Like she went to a very like conservative small college.
Right.
Like it was just a very
She
different.
didn't understand why her son, you know, spent $200 and was, you know, blackout till 4 a.m. you know?
Exactly. She didn't get
Couldn't-
that.
Was face down and, you know, in front of his door.
Right.
It's fine.
Oh, Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Oh, Adam.
Adam, you spent $200 at Galette's last night. Who stole your card? Who stole your card?
Said that?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I,
Oh,
no,
the
no,
benefit of the
I
doubt.
think,
What a saint.
okay, no, I take it back.
You told her that,
I think
didn't you?
I told her that someone stole my card, or like someone was putting drinks on my card. She bought into it,
Uh-huh.
and then she wanted to come up to Galette's and like physically go into Galette's and yell at them for putting someone put drinks
What did you put
on.
your poor mother through?
And it was probably just her
Oh,
son
you have
getting
no
absolutely
idea.
annihilated. Let's be
But
honest.
my sister, when she was in college, she like it was back in the day where like now like fake IDs, like I guess they're like actually, you know, they look like the person or whatever. Like there's actually an ID with the face. Back in the olden days, you found somebody that looked like you.
That's what I had.
And you're like,
Remember
okay,
Russell?
yeah, you look like me. We're going to use a card. So my sister had this girl who looked like her. And my mother found that ID in my sister's pocket. And she came to me and she goes, we have got to go to Fort Collins and find this poor girl. She has lost her license.
Oh. See, that's what I mean. She's a saint.
She's a saint.
We
No.
could all be channel a little Betty Gale in our
It'd
lives.
be a-
She's
it
so
would be a much
positive.
better
World
world.
would
The
be a
world would
much
be
better-
so much better.
I mean, I look at like baseball games, right? And both, I mean, I would say John Young's pretty positive these days as well.
yeah.
But we'll be at a baseball game for my son. And like my husband's family is definitely more like glass half empty. And then my family's like glass half full. And so we're at the baseball game and like say something little happens, right? I mean, my husband's side could be like, complaining about everything. And Betty Gale and John are like, that was RBI. That was
Great
so
job.
good.
You know what? You hustled back to that bench when you struck out.
You really tried so hard. It's like the happiest little land over here. I sit over here. And then I'm like, happy land. It's great. They're so positive. But Betty Gale is one of my role models because she is a phenomenal mother, a phenomenal grandmother, phenomenal housekeeper. Now, I didn't necessarily want to just be like a stay-at-home mom 100%. Like I wanted to be home with my kids all the time, but I definitely like wanted to have like a career as well. But other than that, like she's my role model. Every day when I clean my house, I think, would Betty Gale be proud of me? Would Betty Gale be proud of me?
Yeah, but she does it so well.
She's just not afraid to roll up her sleeves and just get to work. You know,
that's where we got it from.
She's a go-getter.
Betty Gale's tough.
And if you want a clean house, go on over to their house.
I know.
Yeah, she's amazing.
She's a good one.
What else about role model? Have you ever had a mentor? Do you feel like you've had one or two mentors?
I mean, I've had my coaches. Yeah. Like my Little League baseball coach, like,
oh yeah,
crazy bastard, but that dude instilled some serious mental toughness in me, and like at a very early age.
I would say
tell me a story about that.
About John Stevens.
Yeah, tell us about John Stevens.
He was the best baseball out there. He was the best. This is my Little League baseball coach. He was an amazing baseball coach. I mean, we were like 10 years old.
Yeah,
this dude treated us like we were D1 baseball players.
Literally.
I mean, he would be drilling ground balls on the basketball wood floors as hard as he could hit them, and we're just taking them off the chest. 10 years old, we're running hills till we puke. I mean, it was hardcore. I mean,
it was.
Remember.
Oh, I do remember. But again, it was good.
But it like instilled that
expectation of you need to show up.
We were like one of the best teams in the country.
Yeah,
we were really good.
They were really.
But I think like I tell my wife all the time, like with my guys that I prep for shows, like guys that have played highly competitive sports or were in the military or faced some type of discomfort physically, they can handle a bodybuilding prep better because they've already been in that discomfort. And so their brain already recognizes it. They don't have to develop it. Like when people come into a bodybuilding prep, they've never been pushed physically. They've never really been pushed mentally. They've never been coached. A lot of them struggle because you're basically getting all of those things at one time. You've never done it.
Yeah.
So you really don't know how to internalize that. And a lot of people, they're uncoachable. They can't push through mentally tough things. They just kind of crumble because they never have experienced that difficulty, and their level of hard is so low that now that they're being pushed through something that's difficult, they just can't handle it.
Yeah. Yep. Those are the people that I admire though, is that like, if you've been through this or you're tough, like you can handle certain things, you've faced adversity, those are the people that I'm like, yeah, like I look up to that for sure.
Oh yeah.
They're role models in general.
So here's my question. Okay. Like sayings, right? Do you guys have like a saying you say, like a saying that
I have sayings that I don't like.
Okay. So do that. So what are some sayings that you don't like? Do you have any that you do like?
She told me.
I have a saying that I hate.
Okay. What is it?
It is what it is.
I know. And I say that sometimes, I'm like, I don't know why you hate it.
I hate
Why
it
do you
because
hate
it is what you make of it.
Oh,
it's not deep. Is what it is. Like you don't just roll over like a dog and let it be.
I don't know.
You have some kind of control in whether that's your attitude, whether that's some action that you can take to make the best of a situation. I don't think it is what it is. Like that just sounds like a cop-out saying to me, and so I do not like that saying.
Yeah, that's not your favorite. I get it.
It's not my favorite. I feel passionate about it.
What do you?
I feel a lot of passion coming from this side of me, to be honest with you today.
Do you have any?
Warm.
A little warm over there. Do you have any sayings that you don't like or that you do like?
I love Nick Saban saying it takes what it takes, because like it doesn't matter what you want it to take. It takes what it takes. Like you have to go through the trenches to get to the other end. Like you can't just be like, well, I really want to be a pro bodybuilder, but like, I don't really want to diet, and like that cardio stuff, like kind of sounds hard, and like all that weight stuff, but like, I want to look like that. Like it takes what it takes. Like you have to go through hell to get to that point. Same thing with your business.
Yes.
Like you have been doing this forever. You have done this daily, posting, not giving a shit what people think.
Been in the trenches.
Yeah, everybody hits up
things.
Abby and wants to make what she makes, but they don't do what she does, and that's what the problem. And Abby takes what it takes. Abby does what it takes.
I was gonna say Nick Saban is a role model. He is so amazing.
Yeah.
He's
Roll
awesome.
Tide.
Roll Tide.
High achievers hate mediocre people, and mediocre people hate high achievers.
I love that.
Because it is very true.
Mhm.
Because if you're a high achiever, you can't stand mediocre people because you're just like you don't have any drive or to do anything in your life.
Yes.
And then mediocre people hate high achievers because they deep down hate on them because they've done more than them, and it immediately shows them what they have not done.
Exactly. Yeah. One of my favorite ones is good is the enemy of great, because you could just be good, but do you want to be good or you want to be great?
Right.
So good is the enemy of great.
Stops you.
Because
Because
good is comfortable.
Good is comfortable.
Great is uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. Yeah. But the one I hate is hard work pays off. Isn't that weird that I hate that one? You want to know why?
It's not always true.
It's not true, because I have some people who can come in and work really hard for a month. It's consistency and longevity.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
not necessarily true.
So it's like, hard work pays off, but you have to keep doing it. Like, it's not just like try it for a month and then suddenly like you're just, top of the company.
It's like our world. Like you could come and work hard for a month, but if you're 300 pounds, it's not going to really do much.
You can work hard for a month. You might lose. What would you lose if you're 300 pounds? 15 pounds?
15
I don't
pounds. But it's,
But-
but you know,
Can you keep it off?
Can you keep it off?
Can
Will
you
you
keep,
keep
can
it
you
off?
keep doing it? That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One that's popular is nobody cares, work harder.
Mm-hmm.
You
I don't know.
You don't like that?
I
or
don't
you
know
do?
if I like
I
that.
don't. I'm like kind of
I
indifferent.
mean, in a
about
way,
that
I kind of like, and I get it because, like, at the end of the day, people only care about winners, and until you can win, keep working harder.
No, that's good. That's really
true.
good. I mean, my favorite of all time is dream one size too big.
That is your favorite.
That's my saying. That's my motto. So,
Mhm.
yeah,
You've done that.
it was brought into my life many years ago, because you can dream big,
It's true.
but you have to dream bigger than that.
Right.
What are some
And you
other
have to
ones?
do. You can't
Yes.
just dream.
You can't just dream. You have to like make that dream become the why. The
You
purpose
actually have to
becomes
like
your boss
wake
and
up
get into
out of the
action.
dream and actually get out of bed and do something.
Yes.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
that.
Not just be like,
you can't
oh,
just
it'd be
sleep
so nice.
and dream and then think that it's going to happen, because that's unfortunately just not how it works.
Correct.
You
And
can-
then sit back and go, well, it just wasn't for me. No, you just decided not to do it.
You just quit.
You
too
just
early.
quit. That was it. Yep.
Usually that's the problem, is people just don't see things through for long enough to actually get to the result.
Because at the end of the day, and I would say for like even your industry, there are people who have the physique and the build that they are going to just go crush the stage, right?
Mhm.
But they're going to still have to do the discipline. They're going to still have to do the eating, the workouts, all the things.
And even if you have that, the mind really.
doesn't
I
even
just
matter
made
at the
it.
end.
It doesn't. But
I just made a post this week about that. Like, at the end of the day, the mind really, because you could have great genetics, if you can't keep the donuts out of your mouth, you're not going to do.
it doesn't
great.
matter. But my point is that even if
because you're in pain from being on a diet,
right, but even if you don't have that perfect physique, if you still do those things, you're still going to get in exceptional
Right.
like shape to still get on the stage.
And you ultimately could beat someone that might have better genetics than you because you worked harder, and
That's exactly
that's
right.
the thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And same thing goes for mine. Like, you may not be the top person in the company, but what if you were the 10th person?
So that
Right?
goes with this saying right here: the person you become is more important than the goal you achieve.
Mhm.
True.
Right? Because
Yep.
it's the process of what it takes to get you there. That's I like that saying.
Mhm.
Because it really is true. It's sometimes it's hard for people in the moment, and this is especially true when you're at a high level of anything, a high level of success, like a high level of bodybuilding. You're constantly picking yourself apart and how you can be better, and you forget to stop and smell the roses about where you're actually at in that journey of like, I am becoming this like better version of myself that I never knew that I could be, but I'm not appreciating it in the moment,
Yes. Yes.
and you still may not have that goal achieved in your mind because you're constantly trying to strive to be better, but you're not realizing that look at how far you've freaking come, so
Mhm.
that's important too.
No, I think that's important. And I think celebrating your successes is super important too.
Mhm.
Like, take a second and like celebrate what you've done and be proud of yourself, and then keep going.
What about discipline will take you places motivation never can?
I think we talked about that.
We
did
started
talk
with
about
that.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
fast.
I think that is really the theme of what we talked
Mhm.
about in the beginning.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
That's a good one.
Cool.
Well, good guys.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
that
I
was
feel like we
fun.
really had a good talk today.
I did too.
Yeah. Thank you. And we will see you next for episode 15.
Yay.